How wonderful to be back with Stephen Quant, catbehaviorhelp.com, for those of you who have questions that some of our episodes together may have answered. And then you think, yeah, but my question's a little different. Stephen does really great remote work with people. And if you're in New York City, maybe he even comes in person. I'm not going to promise that, but he does. Yes. Stephen, you brought up a really interesting point, and it's a worrisome one in a sense. So many people decide when they're pregnant or when their baby is born, oh, I can't have a cat. The cat who's been with them for eons. Of course, they can still have a cat, but something has made them think they can't. Something maybe about allergies. I doubt it's that old weird wives' tale about how cats get on infants in the crib and smother them. I don't even know where that became from. But let's talk about how to prepare your cat for a baby, because never mind the baby, I would say it's hard on the cat. The baby doesn't know the difference. The baby is like the world you offer the baby is the baby's world. The cat's world is going to be turned upside down. So I bet you have made a few home visits to people to help them set up the right environment for the cat when the baby comes home.
Indeed. And thank you again, Tracy, for having me. Always a pleasure to be back. And you mentioned something that's worth starting out with. Let's make sure that the cat can actually stay in the home because it kills me that doctors possibly out of fear of God knows what lawsuits, tell people to get rid of the cat because of parasites like toxoplasmosis, which can exist in cat feces. And it's not airborne. If the mom doesn't change the litter, there's no risk. You actually have a greater risk of that particular parasite from unpasteurized milk products, which people don't
Yes.
really get, but
Oh
undercooked
no, they
meat.
do now. They do now
Okay.
because
So
we have
undercooked
people in
meat,
people in
gardening.
people in positions of power suggesting that people drink raw milk. And
Uh-huh.
anyone who read my books, Pregnancy and Childbirth and Pregnancy Pure and Simple, knows you cannot do that. And you can't have raw, unpasteurized cheese when you're pregnant. But the cat feces, which generally would only have toxoplasmosis if your cat is fed a raw diet, which is less frequent nowadays. It's a much smaller segment of the population. Unless you're picking up the feces with your hands, highly unlikely, as you're using a scoop and putting it into the kitty litter bucket. I mean,
Right. And to be fair, indoor outdoor cats can also have it. But again, it's not a concern. Anyway, we should move on, right? Because we're
no, because
assuming, right?
no, we're assuming that people have believed something that used to be true, and was erroneous. So if you have a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, or someone in another country who says, "Oh no, cats have to go when babies come," it's based on old, now perhaps faulty science. Okay,
Yep.
let's say.
Indeed. Okay. So we want to, in terms of getting a baby, it's not as you mentioned, it's not the baby we're trying to prepare, it's the cat
Right.
we're trying to
Yes.
prepare.
Yes.
And if you think about it, this creature shows up. It's small, it's wriggly, its arms are going back and forth, and it's making this ungodly noise as far as what the cat thinks.
Yes.
And it's alien. And some cats are going to be fine. We know there's lovely cats who just love babies and other cats who have a harder time. So when you know you're pregnant, the time to do this work, Tracy, is not when the baby shows up.
That's right.
It
That's
is
right.
while you are pregnant before the baby
Yes.
has arrived. So,
Yes.
first thing, go to YouTube, get recordings of babies crying.
Yes.
Start playing these recordings at a very low volume while the cat is eating something tasty. And
Nice. I love it.
slowly, we're going to desensitize the cat to probably the number one stressor or trigger, which is the sound of the baby. We're going to do this by slowly increasing the volume while continuing to give the cat nice things, excuse me, like treats or a little food until we get to what I call performance volume. That is the actual volume that a baby might cry at. And you can even move the recording, the whatever device you're playing it on, into a different room so that the cat gets used to this sound as being in a different space
Right.
and bad things don't happen to the
Right.
cat while this is going on. So that's number one. Number two, we also want to get the cat ready for the scent and the objects that are going to come
Right.
into the home. So things like baby powder, soaps, shampoos, baby milk. All of these things we want to expose our cat to so it's not a shock when our baby shows up. Now, one thing it would be lovely to introduce the cat to in advance, which is not very practical anymore because people don't spend time in the hospital for very long after they give birth.
Right.
But we should still at least collect a sock from our newborn baby that our baby has worn and give it as an option. It's like scent exchange, right? Between
Yes.
two cats, except this is going to be baby scent exchange. And we don't have to worry about the baby, but we're going to give the sock as a gift to the cat, maybe with some treats, and let the cat smell the baby's actual scent. And this is something that can be repeated because you're not going to be introducing the cat to the baby on day one. But backing up again, before the
Right.
baby shows up, we want to get everything in place that the baby's going to need. That means playpens, cots, high chairs, changing mats. Any of these things want to be purchased, put in place, and then we want to see what the cat wants to interact with because we don't actually want the cat jumping into the cot, right?
Right.
So we might need to put something that dissuades our cat gently from doing that. Maybe a passive scat mat or little rubber feet
But
it
they
doesn't hurt.
also have a net that can go over the
Yes,
top. Grip.
net would be number one so that the cat doesn't get into this because we just don't want the cat jumping on the baby. Cat could accidentally hurt the baby if they jumped in.
But
We don't want
also, the cat, although he cleans himself nicely, has had his feet in a litter box, and the litter box could have a bit of urine still clinging. So it's his little kitty feet. We don't want tramping around on the
that.
sheet where the baby's going to have his face. I just want to back up for a minute about the scents, because in my book, The Cat Bible, I do have a whole chapter on preparing
Yeah.
cats for babies. And one of the things that you bring up about scent is so vital and something people never think about, that scent matters profoundly to cats. They think, oh, dogs have a great nose. Dogs can sniff out narcotics and vegetables in the airport. But cats' sensitivity to smell is enormous. And it's part of the way they orient themselves to something new. So if you bring in a bag of groceries, everyone's seen this happen. Why is the cat so fascinated with the bag? Because it smells different. It's been in a cart. You've touched it. The supermarket checker maybe has touched it. It's got scents on it, and they're interesting to the cat. The cat's not going to do anything bad about it, but the curiosity could make people feel, oh my God, what's he going to do with the diaper pail? He's checking it out. Now, I would say if you have friends who have babies, borrow a used diaper. Gross, but put it in your diaper pail. Let the cat go, wow, that's going to be an interesting scent. And maybe borrow your friend's baby onesie or socks, because, of course, not all babies smell alike, but they still smell real different from adult humans. So,
And in fact, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, just that. It's just not the sights. The sights are interesting. It's the smells. Let the cat investigate everything. I don't know what you think about putting pheromone spray on some of these objects. I would be in favor of it, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Everything we can do to help our cat feel that life is normal. And we want to be careful with diapers too, because while it's fine to let the cat smell them, we don't want the cat to start marking because there's
No,
too much
of
poop
course.
smell or
Yeah.
urine smell.
But the diaper pail you could spray with Feel Away on the outside. So if there's
Absolutely.
one dirty diaper in there, obviously with the lid closed, the cat goes, oh, that's the stinky place. Got it.
Yep. And another thing to do is start feeding your cat off the ground before the baby arrives. Baby's going to be crawling around,
That's a
right?
great point.
Baby crawls into your food bowl, whether you leave dry food out or not, or the wet
Right.
food or the water bowl. We don't want
Yeah,
our cat getting
that's a
upset
great point.
because your baby's messing with their food supply, right? And then this is what I never see get talked about on the internet with respect to baby cat introductions. If it goes super well, then we don't have to worry too much. But if there's any stress or tension, think of it like a cat to cat introduction. Don't bring the baby into the
And
in front of
push
the
it in
cat
their
while the
face.
yeah, push it in their face or while the baby's crying. Introduce the baby when the baby's asleep and gently let the cat, again, we talked about in another episode.
Agency.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. I love you. We want the cat to have the choice to approach the baby on
Yeah.
their own terms, sniff the baby and make a decision, either I'm going to hang out or I'm going to come back later or I'm going to take a break. And so we slowly start bringing the baby towards the cat, and under different conditions, they don't have to hear the baby crying right next to them. Even if we've
Right.
done this work, we can
Yeah.
still spare our baby that and move the
Our
baby
cat,
off to
not
this.
our
Or
baby.
yeah,
Spare our cat. I know what you meant. I just wanted to
thank
clarify.
you. Yeah.
And we can see needing to cry really loudly and hysterically because we're going to pick the baby up, unlike the olden days when they said, let the baby cry it out. Not good for
Right.
your cat. I'm kidding. Of course, it's not good for the baby either. Baby
Sure.
cries, you pick your baby up.
Yep. And
Get
we
hysterical.
and this way we can do an incremental approach and our cat can be rewarded for agency instead of I love to talk about this instead of luring our cat to do a behavior like here kitty come to the treat.
Right.
Instead, encourage the cat to engage in the behavior that you want and then reward that
Yeah.
choice as opposed to just coaxing them with a bribe.
Well said. Really well said. And when the baby becomes toddler age and you can give them a dry treat in their hand and the baby won't put it in their mouth, although you could get human grade ones, but let's not get too fine a point. You could guide the baby's hand, not a little infant baby, but a little walking around human, to put the treat in the cat's mouth if the cat is nearby. So good things happen from the baby. But again, it has to be completely monitored and controlled by the human. Let's talk for a second about allergies, which is the other
Mhm.
incorrect, if you will, reason, just as along with toxoplasmosis, reason that people think, I got to get rid of the baby because become allergic. What they've learned, but science has known this for a long time, the sooner you expose anybody, especially at a young age, to various environmental factors, the more their body knows how to cope with them. So keeping the baby in a bubble is not a great idea. They figured it out with peanut allergy. These children have been having anaphylactic shock, dying, near dying, EpiPens. They're like, no, wait, we had it wrong. Don't wait 2 years to give peanut butter. Give it like as soon as you can. And then the baby system will know peanuts, not a problem. Same thing with cats. There you
And
go.
I read not too long ago that people who are raised on farms generally have much less allergies in life than
I,
get
I
dirty,
believe
in
that.
other words.
Yeah,
And there's even workarounds now. Purina, after lots of work, developed a food called Live Clear
I know, but
that,
that's for adults. We don't need that to feed that to our cats when we have babies.
oh, yeah, yeah, I'm just saying if there was an allergy in the home,
For
you
an
can treat,
adult.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can deal with that by helping our cat
Right.
not give off that allergen anymore.
And the allergen, by the way, is not the hair and it's not the dander, it's their saliva. So, a damp washcloth, if you think that it's good to expose your kid to everything you can, unless you have an immunocompromised baby, we're talking about something completely different. A damp washcloth on your dog and or your cat takes off any surface dirt, that there might be actual dirt, or in the case of a cat, that extra dried saliva from them cleaning themselves. So you just start at the kitty's face, a warm washcloth, damp right down to their tail, and then there's less of that allergen, whether it's for you, visitors, and the baby.
Yep. And I don't work for Purina, but I'll say they also make an allergy wipe that also neutralizes the saliva on contact on the fur. Same principle as the Live Clear food. They have that in a wipe.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I will
Yeah.
contact them and find out more about it because anything that makes homes more cat friendly, because a lot of adult humans have these allergies because they
And
weren't the cats as babies.
every week at animal care centers, we get cats brought to us because either someone's in the home is allergic, or there's the perception that someone is allergic, or
Right.
there is a baby on the way.
So we don't want that to happen. If you have a baby on the way, the other one last other thing, if you have a cat who's really attached to you, really interacts with you a lot, is very conscious of what you do and how you do it, get a baby doll. Or worst case scenario, not really worst at all, go hold somebody else's baby. So your cat sees you holding it. If you're going to breastfeed, which in my particular case, I certainly hope you do, since before I was a cat and dog expert, I was a pregnancy expert. Breastfeeding takes a lot of time, and it's a time when a cat might want to curl up and hang out. So obviously, you're not going to breastfeed somebody else's baby, and you're not going to breastfeed a baby doll, but holding a baby in that position or holding a doll in that position gets the cat to realize and play some sweet low music at the same time, which you might do anyway for yourself, or even a podcast. You could play cat chat while doing this because maybe that's much more interesting, I hope, while you're breastfeeding than just listening to some old pop mix. But then the cat says, oh, this is a good time. She sits in that easy chair or rocker, whatever it may be. And for once, that woman is going to sit still, not be running around with her phone, not be on the computer, not be fussing about. For a cat, it's like heaven on earth. Oh my God, 20 minutes, she's going to sit still. This is good for me. So
And you,
breastfeeding time is a good time for a cat.
you wonder why cats love to get on people's laptops. Think of what we're doing. We're massaging this warm device with our fingers, right? But you raise an important point, which has to do with resource guarding. If you're spending all this time with the baby and none with the cat, be mindful of giving the cat some extra special time
Yeah,
while baby's here.
absolutely. Or you can stroke the cat with your feet while you're breastfeeding. Be a multitasking, multi-purpose person. This is great. Any of you expecting a baby, whether you give birth or whether you adopt, foster, just know your cat would love a little heads up and making it easier for all of you. Thank you so much, Stephen. It's always great to spend time with you.
Thank you, Tracy. Always great as well.